Our next guest is in her third year as head coach of the women's basketball program, and our Cougars have a week to get ready for the Red Raiders of Texas Tech. Amber Whiting back with us. Good to see you.
Good to be here. Thanks for being here. Come on. Yeah.
Cougs are 10-6, 1-4 in the Big 12. Split last week. Kansas State, number 12 in the country. They were all that, both on that road swing at Salt Lake and down here in Provo, and then you beat Houston 89-75. How do you feel about things?
So.
Yeah.
I mean, we dropped some games the first half that we shouldn't have. I thought Arizona at home, we had them. I thought Cincinnati on the road, we had them. Things happened in those games that couldn't foresee happening and never thought would happen. And then West Virginia, we had them on the ropes, 3 quarters. And so just kind of waiting for us to put together a whole game, not just first half, not just second half, not just a quarter here and there, but the growth there and the learning experiences that are coming out of those losses, I think, and I hope will help us in the end.
5 games into the Big 12 schedule, and there's a lot of new faces on this team. When I come and watch, I watch the West Virginia game on TV. I look around and I'm like, wow, that's just a completely different group of players out there. So what have you learned 5 games into the conference season, maybe that you like about this group?
I like the grittiness and the toughness. No one expected us to be up or in the game, even with West Virginia, right? They're a top 20 team too. And I talked to one of the Kansas State coaches last night, and he just said, I knew we were going to be in for dogfight, right? They're a really good team. They're very balanced, and they shoot it well, and they have an inside presence. And so, that's why they're a top 10, And so for us in that game, he knew we were going to just fight and fight and fight and fight. So I just like that they have that within them. I like that they play for each other and they find the joy in making plays for each other. Big 12 is everything it's going to be. It's a grind, and it's every night out. And so that's why we're in this, though. It's fun.
There's a core of something different about this group, and you see it in pieces in these games. Cincinnati for 3 quarters on the road, dominating, and then it falls apart in the fourth. But then the first quarter at West Virginia, a few days later, you're up 20-13 at the end of the first quarter against a team that's at home, ranked 18th in the country. So you just see this. The disappointment in the end of that one, but in a few days up against a better opponent, you come out fighting. And I was at the game the other night in that first quarter, going toe-to-toe with a 6'6" center. Mm-hmm. And they're very much a top 12, top 10 team, Kansas State. And in that first quarter, everyone was even. And they wore you down and did what they did, what they do to so many teams. But you see those glimpses and you go, you know what, we got the core to get this thing together.
Yeah, and I feel in the Houston game, you see the benefits of when they're firing on all cylinders and everybody's just going, it is so pretty to watch. And so in a lot of those losses, you have in Cincinnati, I don't know how we don't hit a field goal until 1 minute left in that quarter.
It's crazy.
We had open shot after open shot and we just couldn't hit. And so you would think, you never imagined that those kids, they're shooters. They would go 2 for in the fourth quarter. That was awful. And then a couple against Arizona, I had 3 of my starters. Between the 3 of them, or between the 4 of them, they only hit 3 shots. I'll get I gotta have all of them firing on all cylinders. That's our only chance to win.
Is there something you can put your finger on when they go through these little bit droughts, because they're shooters. Mm-hmm. They don't have droughts in practice. Mm-hmm. And so is there something that's going on? We watch Yegor on the men's side, and I keep going, man, he just needs to slow down a little bit. He just seems like he's rushing it as a young.
Sometimes it's a speed thing. Sometimes it's a fatigue thing. Sometimes it's, granted, it's not just us, but I know because when I walked down the Kansas State line, they had a mound of cough drops sitting on the side, right? But every single team is going through their health issues, it's that time of year. So you just got to try and play through it and, get what you can out of each individual.
Delaney Gibb today named the Big 12 Newcomer of the Week for the 4th time. She was fantastic on Saturday, 18.7 rebounds, 5 assists. Her first shot at a top 12 team, right? What are we going to see out of her as she grows in experience? She's fantastic. She's
really good, and so she's going to draw more and more of the defensive focus, right? So she's just going to learn to get in her bag more, learn to be, it's her freshman year, right? Yeah. So some of the things that I've talked to her about that we're working on, are in practice, and so I hope to see them improve as the years go on. But she has some goals of how she wants to play for her Canadian national team in the Olympics and do things, right? So she's set on certain things that she wants to have happen in her life, and so this is like her journey that we're all on.
You've got two other really good freshmen, and Brinley Cannon and Cambry Barber. And what do you like about them? It's just like, this is a young basketball team.
Yeah.
When we look at it, it's a very young basketball team.
They're fearless, and so I love to be able to put them in and just get the energy from them, right? They make the energy plays when they come in, whether it's rebounding the ball or, picking up or doing whatever they can do to help us. And there's no like egos. They don't have to have shots. They just go in and work. And so that's what I love about them.
Delaney's still a freshman. Mm-hmm. Like, as good as she is, she's a freshman. We talk about Brinley and Cambry. No matter how gifted they are, and we're seeing this on the men's side with Cannon and with Yegor, they're still freshmen. Mm-hmm. How hard is it to make that adjustment, even if you're gifted in a league like the Big 12?
The elephant in the room, like our turnovers, right? Like that's a huge thing. And so you learn, like, as you're going through non-conference, you get the adjustment from like basically high school to college. And then there's that last adjustment to the Big 12. It's bigger, it's faster, it's stronger, and everything is more pressured. And so just to be able to take care of it, slow down, make the easy play, like just those things, they'll learn that going on. But if you remember, I had the same growing pains with Wilson and Amari last year.
Yes, you did.
So it's like, they're going to give me gray hairs, but they're also going to go out and battle. So I live and die by it. It's okay.
And one was really figured out, went on a mission.
Yep.
And so and the other one's your leading assist leader and point guard. BYU women's basketball coach Amber Whiting on the Wise Guys tonight, presented by Brady Plus, distributed by the Deseret News. So Amari's a sophomore, leads the team in assists and rebounds. Second year in the program. Do you find that you're yelling at her more or less as she is getting more accustomed to the Division I game? I wasn't sure how to ask that, so I just went out with that one.
I expect more. You know what I mean? Leading us in, rebounds. What did you say? Steals and assists. I expect that. Yeah. Like if she's not doing that, then she's not doing her job, right? She's never going to go out and be my top scorer just because she's always that person that's going to, But for me and foremost, I don't like all that stuff aside. I care about her picking up defensively and just hawking the crap out of whoever's bringing the ball up. That's where she gets us going, So I just expect that night in and night out of her, and she's just that tough-nosed kid up top.
She's got to be in unbelievable shape, because you ask her to pick up on the other side of the half-court line and cover people and dog them with the ball, and the minute she plays, she's the best-conditioned athlete on the team?
I don't know that. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. If she wants to be out there, that's what I need from her. And that's I don't know how else to say it. It's a hard job, right?
Yeah.
And I've asked other ones to do it and like to get there, and she just takes it on every night, and I love that she just owns it.
In the game I can't remember which game it was because I've been to a few. You yelled something out at her, and she came over. She started to tuck back, and you didn't even say anything. You went. She just went, and people that are listening on the podcast tomorrow can't see. So
we've all gotten that look at the dinner table.
Amber just gave her a look like, do not even do this. And she just stopped, and she put her hand in her shoulder. She goes, I'm sorry, what? and then you talk to her. How often does that? Like, I know. I laughed as a dad. I remember coaching my kids, and I just laughed because you just looked at her like, no.
Yep.
You do not go here with me right now. And she stopped and apologized.
I can hold her to a higher standard, and I can yell at her if somebody gets middle on us, like on her, and then I can hold everybody accountable, right?
Right.
We're very highly competitive, and we are so similar. And Trent hates, like, she's moved out, but Trent hates being like the go-between, like when she comes home, because sometimes it's just, you know what I mean? Yeah. But at the end of the day, we're both trying to win. Right. And so for us, like, that's okay. That's how we function. And so I think people at first are like, oh my gosh, I'm like, no, this is what we do. I get the best out of her. I know exactly what buttons to push, and vice versa, right? But for her being out there, she can say, hey, this is a great mismatch, or we need to do this, or this doesn't feel right, or you know what I mean? And she can talk open and honest with me, and it will actually give me good feedback. And then she knows at the end of the day is what I say goes. That's just how it is.
We're at the cusp, really, of this tandem of Delaney and Amari. Amari's a sophomore, Delaney's a freshman. So there's a lot of basketball as they move through the record books and all that stuff here at BYU. What are your expectations for these two? They're different from the others. You have higher expectations for them. They come in highly touted and all that. So they've got to be great, and they look like they're heading that way.
They are fun to play and coach together. Like, they just play off each other really well, right? Either one can bring the ball. Either one can play off the ball. Either one can pick up. Either one can get steals. And so you'll just see they are so competitive and they just want to win. And so, like, some of my favorite plays are when they make a play and make the other one look good and they get excited about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like, I love that. Like, I love when they can scream and, like, when they get an and one at each other or go chest bump or whatever they're going to do, but they're just out there and they are in it for the right reasons, and I love that about them.
Another newcomer to the team, not a newcomer, is Kimmery Congdon, who brings a ton of experience with her. What are your expectations for her as a leader? What do you want to see from her this week in play?
I need her, like, she just has to be very consistent for us, offensively, defensively, both ways, right? Against West Virginia, she was hot, and I just kept saying to her, I kept telling Amari, find her, and then she would catch it and I'm like, Kimmery, pull the trigger, like, heat check. I don't care. I just need you to shoot the ball any given moment when you're feeling it. You know what I mean? But she does bring that, like, calming voice in the huddles and on the court, and so I just love when she's on and she's making plays. Like, she's really nice with it.
BYU women's basketball coach Amber Whiting on the Wise Guys tonight, live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and wiseguys.com. Such a big league. A tough league and all the stuff, but a big league. We watched Kansas State's Akoya Lee, 6'6". She had 19 and 7 rebounds and 4 steals. That's what the contenders have, and moving forward, you're out recruiting. You have Miriam Traore at 6'3", coming in. Riley Little, a commit from 2026, is 6'5". We talked about it this last year. Everyone's looking for bigs. So
how hard is it to find them?
You've got guards, and you got another one coming in who's fantastic in Sydney Bentley. In fact, a question on the stream is, can Coach talk about her top 100 pickup from New Mexico? So let's do that in a second. But you got guards. So what's your plan to address, knowing that you've also got to get size to contend for the league title?
You kind of got to search far and wide.
Yeah.
And so, like, just to get the right fit, we have a couple that are, I brought in one a couple weeks ago and bringing in another one the next month. Don't want to talk about them, but I have it coming.
Once they're committed, you can talk, right? Once they sign, once they sign, then you can talk about it. And we don't want to go in the wrong direction with you
But there's opportunities. People want to play with these guards, right?
Yeah. And guards love playing in our system, right? Being able to shoot it and just be able to play fast. And so that's where a lot of these kids, like, they're seeing our system. So as I'm talking to kids, how do you see us fit? Or how do you see yourself fit in our system? What do you see that you can bring to the table? And once they can kind of see that, I feel like it's a good thing for them.
And you say far and wide. I mean, that includes, like, recruiting these days is global. It's like Africa, Europe, Eastern Europe. You've had players from down in New Zealand and Australia. Like, how do you keep track of all of this?
I have a recruiting coordinator.
Good answer. We
Coach
just talked to Kevin.
Loves getting on the plane.
Does he like to go do it? And then he said, "Okay, Amber, I need you to fly to wherever." And
he loves it. He gets a lot of miles, and then he sends us all sorts of random pictures of him all over the place. He's funny.
Let's talk about Sydney Bentley, who I think has the potential to becoming one of the great BYU stories as we get to know her from her background.
Right? Oh, she's not signed.
I thought she was
committed.
She's committed. Oh, she had signed. She'd committed somewhere else. I think it was.
I know.
Ivy League. Okay, then never mind. We'll deal with it later.
Yeah, we'll talk about her. We'll talk about when Amber's gone.
But I love her.
We love her too. Dave obviously really loves her.
We'll tackle this one later.
Yeah, we'll do that one later
because she's going to be a fantastic story. We'll talk.
Yeah. Let's talk about Emma Calver because she's here.
Yeah,
and you can talk about Emma.
Love it.
And Emma's 6'5". She's not only signed, she's been playing for you. So we talk about Emma, the 6'5" senior, 13-5 a game right now. She's playing some of her best basketball right now.
Oh, she's our best, like, points per possession, I think, right now. And just, I mean, that hook inside or whatever, it's hard to guard her.
Mariah Hudgens, are you getting her back?
I don't know.
What's the health status on her?
Well, she had her surgery. It was just a meniscus thing, There's been some little things along the way. So it's week by week, I guess.
Yeah, out since November 28th. So yeah.
Could you get her back on a medical redshirt? Is that still in play for next year?
Yeah, that is. So then that would be 2 years. I'd have her. So
we know she's a Swiftie, but she's been on our show and she has such a great personality. But you brought her in for toughness.
Yeah.
And I know you've missed that.
We have, but she on the bench, she does her best to say all of her kind words to the refs and whatnot. So
she's a character.
We haven't seen the last of her, is what you're saying.
No, definitely not.
Good. I know you had big plans with her.
As you navigate this season, the rest of this season, give us one or two things that you have to do better if you're going to have the kind of results you want to have moving forward in the league.
I think against Kansas State and some of the times that we've went on stretches, defensive principles weren't necessarily our best. So we need to make sure we're staying with that. And then we got to be able to shoot the ball. Like, we got to be able to knock down shots, and whatever it is, we got to fight through it and figure it out.
One thing I noticed at the game the other day is there's a cool vibe there at the Marriott Center. I hadn't been to a game for a little bit. Bigger crowds are there now. The whole game atmosphere and everything while you're doing timeouts, what's going on out there, and the level is up. Do you feel that? Does the team feel that?
Yeah, marketing has done a fantastic job trying to get people out to our games, and I think The Rock, honestly, they've brought it, and they are so fun when they're in the gym with us.
Yeah, and the band, you get the band.
Yeah, the band too.
The band, I saw the band over there the other day. I go, there they are.
Yeah,
they don't just come out for football.
Yeah. And it's high level basketball. The teams that are coming into to Marriott Center, everybody's so aware of how good the Big 12 is on the men's side, but the Big 12 is equally strong on the women's side. I'm not sure people understand the level of the teams that are coming into the Marriott Center to play. It's one of the top leagues in college basketball, if not the top league in college basketball on the women's side, right?
I think 6 or 7 made it to the tournament last year, and at least that will go again this year. So, yeah for sure.
It's interesting, the parallels between the men's program and the women's program as Big 12 play has started. Both non-conference slates were 9 or 10 wins, and then all of a sudden here comes the wall, and both rosters are so young and inexperienced, but everyone wants to win so badly, and you just kind of have to balance your expectation with where they're at, right? Is that the hardest thing to do?
Even after Kansas State, we shouldn't have won that game, right? They're a top, but I go home and I'm just so mad. You just it's, and there's a tension in the annex, right? When both of us lose or both of us win, it's happy, right? But everybody just wants to win so bad, and that's what this league, you get to go toe to toe with the best every night out. And that's one thing that I love, my women love, just rise to the challenge. Every night out is an opportunity. And so, I don't know, that's welcome for me.
Yeah. I think you're ready for 5 questions presented by Strategy Square, delivering connection, clarity, and confidence in business and marketing strategies. You already answered the original 5 questions.
Yeah, so the ones that we just gave Justin. These are once you come on
as a veteran of the show, we change them up.
We give you now you help us with some lists.
So tonight, we're going to reveal Coach Whiting's top 5 sports movies of all time.
You got to go with Hoosiers, right?
Is that 5 or 1?
Wait, are you just throwing them 1 to 5, or are you just throwing them out? You can throw them out, and then we'll rank them.
Okay, I'll throw them out.
I
love Hoosiers. I love Rocky. That's a big one.
All of them?
First one, for sure.
The original.
Yeah.
The soundtrack was better in Rocky 2, though. Did you notice that?
Yeah, that's true.
They just got it. Okay.
Yeah. So Hoosiers and Rocky. Love those.
Remember the Titans. That's one of my favorites. Each one has a story that I love. Miracle. That's another good one.
Like the one about the U.S. hockey team?
Yeah.
Miracle.
Oh, yeah.
When he gives his speech, that's one of the,
that's one of the best ever.
When you give your pregame speeches, do you sometimes think, did I nail it like that guy?
You try to, right? You try to get it.
Do you wish you could pipe in the dramatic music? Because that seems to help their speeches.
That does help. I know.
Even in Hoosiers, when Gene Hackman's doing that, and there's just the music in the background that's like, okay. But in real life, there's none of that music in the background.
I need to get that, though. That'd be a good idea.
Some theme music.
Yeah, we should have some music.
Yeah.
Do you have a go-to thing that you like? Is there a saying or something that you use a lot that's like your slogan or something?
Like win one for the Gipper. That's been used forever.
My women say, I always say punch him in the face.
You say punch him. That's like
we're going to deliver the first punch.
Let's go out there and punch him in the face.
Now, in the event someone goes out there and punches someone
in
the
face.
Kalani didn't know that he was like, was it the Utah game? Or he was, you could just tell he was like boiling over, and they had a camera in there, and he goes, they don't know. He goes, repeat after me. They don't know what they're about to find out, is what he said. And then they all said it, and they goes, they don't know. And everybody then they got all fired up.
Kept going.
I'm like, oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
And they just came out and they don't know what they're about to find out.
I like that. That's,
So punch him in the face.
No, and
punch him in the face.
At first, my girls made fun of me. Like, they're like, what? And now they understand. Like, go set the tone. Physical from the beginning.
Be careful. Those freshmen will go, I'm supposed to go out there and punch someone in the face.
Hey, in this league, you know what, though? In this league, they might not call it.
Yeah. Actually, 2 girls got ejected last game from, I think it was Baylor and Arizona State.
Oh, they did?
Because they just went at it.
They just had it.
It's just a fist fight. Yeah, you can't punch him in the face.
No, you can't.
But you're talking about metaphorically.
Yeah, like set the tone, be physical.
Yeah, go.
Like 50-50 balls. Like
knock them off the screen. Let's go. Yeah.
Yep.
I thought against Kansas State you did that.
We started to,
and in that first quarter, I think they were up by 3 at the end of it, but they hit a shot, then you hit a shot, then all of a sudden they're like, and I was sitting toward the end by the Kansas State bench because I was just watching them. They're kind of like going, okay, this is how this is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
They're not taking a knee. Some teams do.
My girls don't back down.
Yeah.
That's what I love, and so that's like you gotta go toe to toe with them. You know what I mean? You can't back down.
So we got 4. Hoosiers, Rocky. Remember the Titans, Miracle.
I love the natural. I love the story of that.
With Robert Redford?
Yeah.
It is a good story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got baseball, hockey, football, boxing, basketball.
It's fantastic. That's quite
You didn't even know you're going to go 5 different sports.
I didn't. We can put Cool Runnings in there like that one too.
Oh, remember the journey. Cool Runnings means peace be the journey.
Cool
Exactly.
Runnings.
That's a fun story.
runner-up.
That's a fun story.
Cool Runnings.
That's a runner-up, number 6.
I love it. Hey, a couple people asked a couple questions. There's some we can't answer because they want to know about specific recruits.
Yeah, that's my bad too, by the way. On
no,
that.
it's okay. It's okay.
An interesting one that they're asking about: does NIL play a big role in women's college basketball like it does in men's? It's to say it's you're competing just like they are, right?
It's popping full time.
Yeah,
and I know you've got some. I know some of your big supporters, and they're invested.
Yeah.
In I know when Lauren came back, there were key people involved going, you know what, we're invested in what you're doing. Mm-hmm. That's got to make you feel good. I know where they sit. You see them during the game, but they've got your back with their wallet, and that's part of it now, isn't it?
Right.
It's not a great part, but it's part of it. Like you just got to kind of go with it now and figure it out.
Yeah, and you at least have to be competitive.
Yeah,
we're gonna have a chance, right?
And I try to not let it affect my locker room too.
Yeah,
that's a hard thing, but you have to.
Yeah.
So.
Remember Nick Saban said that right when it was going down. He's like, "What am I supposed to do now? I got one lineman, a quarterback making $1 million, and a lineman making $10,000, and I need that lineman to protect my quarterback."
That's crazy.
So how am I gonna?
I mean, it happens in the NFL, but that's a whole different deal. I'm interested to see how Bill Belichick coaches in college because he doesn't put up with any crap in the NFL. Like I just feel like he's gonna hate it.
Hey, who's number 1, by the way, on this whole list of things?
Oh yeah, we didn't rank them. Dang
Hoosiers for sure.
Hoosiers would be
That's
one.
where I'd go number 1.
Hoosiers is one. Isn't that Marie Osmond's one?
Yeah.
Yeah, Marie picked Hoosiers one.
Oh, really?
Number 1. Yeah. She's basketball.
It's a great
She's married to
story. It's great music,
guy,
but it's based on a true story, and it's just the best.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
Number 1 is Hoosiers. Rocky. That's a great list.
I Remember the Titans. Like that's one of my.
You think that's your 2?
Yeah, I just like how a coach could bring 2 sides, like 2 different worlds together.
Yeah, that's a great movie. That's one of my favorites.
Michael's going, hey, For the Love of the Game is a pretty great sports movie with Kevin Costner. That's actually a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little too much romance in there.
So you got Hoosiers is 1. Remember the Titans is 2. Then you got Rocky. Which is going to be 3? Rocky, Miracle, or the
I'd say Miracle. I like
Miracle's 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then Rocky.
And Rocky 4.
And then
And then the Natural's 5. And then Cool Running is an honorable mention, number 6.
That's just fun.
Peace be to Journey.
It's a great list. Linda on the stream had the great movie picks. Nice job.
Very good.
What about Texas Tech on Saturday? What are the 3 keys to beating them?
They have 2 really good players that we got to try and limit and lock down. I always go defensively first, and then just getting out, run, make shots on the road. We got to play through a lot of like the extracurriculars, like with refs and, you know what I mean, all the stuff that comes along with it. It's kind of been frustrating this year with that, but they're learning to just mentally lock into that can't matter. Just let it go. But yeah, we got to rebound, push the ball, transition. We got to take care of their transition. We got to have great transition defense, which it wasn't as good against Kansas State as I'd like. So that's another one for sure.
Okay. All right.
Got it.
1 o'clock Mountain Time on ESPN Plus and on BYU Radio with our colleague Jason Shepard. Thanks for putting up with Shep.
I thought I was going to call Saturday's game.
Were you?
I was on it, and then Kristen, she edged me out.
Oh,
Yeah, Kristen's got.
I don't know.
Kristen-
I was going to call it because Kristen was going to travel with the men's team, then she didn't, so she gets first pick. But I was going to be there. I was there for you.
I think
Thank
I've got a
you.
game
That'd be
coming up.
fun.
We like doing that.
We'll do a few.
We like what
Good.
you're doing.
thank
Yeah.
you.
We'll
And
love
thanks for coming on our show. And Trent didn't want to come with you tonight.
No, I don't know what he's doing.
Trent, the first time you came on, I think he felt like he had to come protect you.
Yeah.
Then it felt like he wanted to be on, and we're
Then
like, Trent,
he
you're
wanted
going to come on some
'cause
other
he's
time.
like, oh, I want to be on.
And when we had Amari on, we have the whole family on. Well, we
Yeah.
haven't had your son. Is he still at Boise?
No, he's at UNLV.
That's right.
Oh, is
How's
he?
that going?
He's getting a medical redshirt this year. He
Okay.
fractured his foot, so
Dang.
he's in a boot right now.
Well, we love the Rebels.
Yeah.
Spend a lot of time with them.
we
down
used to
there.
call the whole Rebel package together
Oh, really?
back in the day.
Vegas is a
they
fun
have a great
place.
staff. I really like them a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah,
good.
it is a good place. We had a number of years we did football and basketball for them. So
All right. Will you come back again?
Of course.
You're welcome here anytime.
Of
Yeah.
course.
And this will be up on our podcast tomorrow and clips on YouTube and in the Deseret News and all that stuff. So we wish you the best against Texas Tech.
you know what I say about Texas Tech? Go freaking punch him in the face.
Seriously.
Yes.
I love
Punch
it.
them in the face, but punch them first.
Yeah.
All right, Coach.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
That's
so
Amber
much.
Whiting, head coach of BYU women's basketball.